young man in sandals, the son of God taking no bullshit in his father's house, and I channel his rage until there's something there, tingling, pushing me on, making all of this worth it just for tonight. I was never sure if the rage of Jesus attracted me because I wanted to love him or because I wanted to be him. And then somehow I get there, and there are noises, and it is Dom, not Jesus, who is murmuring the word baby, testing it out in his mouth, how it hangs there in the air. And I'm tired, and I don't want to pay my dues by taking him there in return, because this was never really about him anyway. At which point my bedroom door opens, and I hear the soft footsteps before I see the small figure. And the small figure turns towards me, opens its mouth and says, "Mummy?" Part 1, Los Angeles. Chapter 1, in which I accidentally get pregnant. It had all happened by accident. I hadn't meant to have a baby at all. I hadn't meant not to have a baby either, by which I mean I always thought I'd have children one day. It's just that I always thought those children would grow up with me and their yet-to-materialise father in a lovely farmhouse, hugged by the hills, with an Aga and a dog and storybooks and trees, and long, invigorating walks through the fields in loving drizzle. This was not how I had grown up in Yorkshire, but it wasn't a million miles from it either. Several 100,000 at a push. It was an idealised version of home, and it lived somewhere vaguely in my future as an unspecified certainty. Exactly how I thought La Vida farmhouse was going to appear, when I was in fact living in a one-bedroom rented apartment in West Hollywood, isn't clear. My apartment was just beside the Sunset Strip part of Sunset Boulevard, which is a road that runs for several miles from the Pacific Ocean to the skyscrapers of downtown Los Angeles. The Strip was the glamorously cheesy bit, full of glitzy hotels and rooftop pools and famous people and palm trees. And it was a place that encouraged in me a relationship with reality that could at best be described as negligible. When I wasn't there on the west side, I was over on the scruffier east side, where most of my friends lived, and on both sides there were parties. Some of them were thrown by my friends, who were lovely people and almost entirely real, and some of them were thrown by the film industry, for people who were paid to pretend to be other people, who were then required to turn up and look like themselves in the photos, which involved a similar amount of pretending. Meanwhile, I felt a strong urge to be honest everywhere and about everything, which is probably why I drank. I was working as a journalist, interviewing Hollywood celebrities for British newspapers and magazines back home. I had been doing a similar sort of entertainment journalism in London for several years, and now I was here on an American work visa to do it in the heart of the action, the HQ of celebrity itself. It had taken me a good year to ingratiate myself into the Hollywood machine, governed as it was by the sort of publicists who would probably hate me in real life, so it was fortunate that this wasn't real life. I had kissed enough arse and filled enough newspaper pages with writing that was sharp enough to impress, but not so sharp as to be offensive. This put me on the right invitation mailing lists, allowed me into preview screenings, and gave me one-on-one access to the preened and the perfected and the shining, to try to get them to say things into my dictaphone that would reveal them to be unravelled and rotten and broken, so normal people could read about them in the papers and gasp. That was the job. That is still my job today. One day, my friend Lily had asked me to accompany her across the border to a luxury wellness ranch in Mexico, where she would be giving life coaching lessons, telling lots of rich Californians that all they had to do was follow their dreams and the universe would make those dreams come true. Because the universe was structurally biased towards supporting rich white people and their unspoken belief in American exceptionalism. All right, so I can't guarantee that she said these exact words out loud. Lily was a rock in my life, which might seem unlikely, given that she based her life around New Age passions that certain others might describe as floaty, wafting, or woo-woo, and given that the only rocks she was interested in were her collection of crystals. These heavy, sharp objects had begun to annoy her downstairs neighbour after she started taking them to bed with her every night, and they rolled off her sleeping body, landing on the hardwood floors with a resounding clunk. This is how you irritate the people in your apartment building in Los Angeles, either with the sound of your crystals going bonk in the night, or your chihuahua yapping incessantly because it isn't getting as much skin-to-skin contact with you as the psychic vet recommended. Or because you've blocked the waste disposal unit after coming home drunk and trying to juice an In-N-Out burger. Even crystals are not always rock-like in their loyalty. Another